Now, speaking of neoliberalism, we have an article from Daily Tech on January 26th by Michael Andrews. Climate Gate Redo. IPCC forced to retract alarming 2007 warming report. The United Nations International Panel for Climate Change is supposed to be an objective international forum to discuss the possibility of climate change and its causation. Some say that its reputation as an objective party has been compromised in recent years by statements from its leadership indicating a clear pro-anthropogenic warming agenda. At the center of the policy push is the IPCC chairman, Rajendra Pachauri. Mr. Pachauri has no formal education in climatology, yet was appointed in 2002 to lead arguably the world's most influential climatology panel. Since, he has stirred up much controversy, suggesting that people internationally give up meat to fight climate change and supervising the publication of alarming climate change predictions. However, Mr. Pachauri's days at IPCC chairman may be nearing an end. Mr. Pachauri has been forced to retract an alarming publication in which he claimed Himalayan glaciers would melt by 2035. Many in the general public and research community are calling for his resignation in the retraction's wake. Mr. Pachauri's publication was made more controversial by his harsh criticism of those who questioned it. He said that climate skeptics use voodoo science and urged the climate research community and international governments to ignore their concerns. The report was supposedly reviewed by the IPCC's 2,000 members. Argues Mr. Van Yppersel, we are trying to do the best job we can in assessing the quality information about climate change issues in all its dimensions, and some do not like the conclusions of our work. Now, it is true we made a mistake around the glacier issue. It is one mistake on one issue in a 3,000-page report. Now, staying on the global warming snow job scheme, we have this article from Prison Planet on January 26, written by Paul Joseph Watson. Obama administration orders World Bank to keep Third World in poverty. Under the probably fraudulent and completely corrupted justification of fighting global warming, the Obama administration has ordered the World Bank to keep, quote-unquote, developing countries underdeveloped by blocking them from building coal-fired power plants, ensuring that poorer countries remain in poverty as a result of energy demands not being met. Even amidst the explosive revelations of the United Nations IPCC issuing reports on the Himalayan glaciers and the Amazon rainforest littered with incorrect data, the U.S. government has stepped up pressure on the World Bank not to fund coal-fired power plants in developing countries, reports the Times of India. The order was made by U.S. Executive Director of the World Bank, Whitney Du Bois, who represents the United States in considering all loans, investments, country assistance strategies, budgets, audits, and business plans of the World Bank Group entities. By preventing poor nations from becoming self-sufficient and blocking them from producing their own energy, the Obama administration is ensuring that millions more will die from starvation and lack of access to hospitals and medical treatment. Not only does strangling the energy supply to poorer countries prevent adequate food distribution and lead to more starvation, but hospitals and health clinics in the Third World are barely even able to operate as a result of the World Bank and other global bodies ordering them to be dependent on renewable energy supplies that are totally insufficient. There's somebody keen to kill the African dream, and the African dream is to develop, said an author and economist, James Shikwati. I don't see how a solar panel is going to power a steel industry. We are being told, don't touch your resources, don't touch your oil, don't touch your coal. That is suicide. Poor people around the world, quote, are being killed in large numbers by starvation as a result of climate change policy, climate skeptic Lord Monckton told the Alex Jones Show last month, due to huge areas of agricultural land being turned over to the growth of biofuels. And what's funny about that is if you watched the last show that preceded this one, there was an article that Obama is preventing the EPA from designating coal ash as a toxic chemical here in the United States. So that shows that Obama is only really interested in the environmental issues when it promotes imperialistic goals, of securing the resources in other countries. When it's happening here, when it's poisoning people here, he doesn't care. Now, the AIG hearings happened in Washington yesterday, where Tim Geithner was called to testify, and so was Henry Paulson. The only problem was they weren't called to testify together, but we're going to show you some highlights from those hearings right now.
You've distanced yourself from any cover-up before November 24th, and then, of course, you were out of the picture from November 24th forward. Is that correct?
Congressman, I'm not trying to distance myself from anything. I will take complete responsibility for decisions I played a role in shaping, was part of shaping, including all decisions up to the 24th in this case. And I'm happy to take responsibility for all decisions I've made.
Then you were
since
aware
then, too.
of 100 cents on a dollar bail?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And the risk that was posed by that offer. So you knew about that, but you weren't attempting to cover up. That's your testimony.
Of course not.
Today. Okay. So I believe either you made a bad decision there, or, in fact, there was the attempt to cover up one of the biggest bailouts, backdoor bailouts, in history. Now, you've tried to frame it as you did it because you did it in the interest of the people and the failure of the system. I'm telling you, I believe these are lame excuses. Either you were in charge and did the wrong thing, or you participated in the wrong thing. This, to me, it appears like, when you were being confirmed, a lot of controversy surrounded your not paying your taxes. You gave lame excuses then. I believe you're giving the committee lame excuses now. And my final question is, why shouldn't we ask for your resignation as Secretary of the Treasury? I didn't think you should have been Secretary of the Treasury when it was disclosed that you didn't pay your taxes, because that's the highest financial responsibility position in the United States government. So why shouldn't you step down?
That is your right. That is your right to that opinion. I have worked in public service all my life. I have never been a politician. I have served my country as carefully and ably as I can, and it is a great privilege for me to work with this president to help repair the damage that was here when we took office. Yes. And I will do so as long as he asks me to do so, to the best of my ability, with great pride in this country and in him.
Yeah. Again, I think you're punting the blame, and I think you're trying to position yourself as the center of the financial institution, and yet
you don't know me very well.
I believe that we're not getting the whole story. We're getting a lame story in a monumental backdoor decision of bailout, for which the American taxpayers will stay on the hook for huge amounts of money. Even by estimates of the Treasury Department, there will be billions of dollars from this deal, which either you should have been overseeing, and you said you had knowledge of, and you failed to take some steps to further protect the taxpayer interest. You were either incompetent on the job, or you were not doing your job and knew what was taking place and tried to conceal it. And I think that's grounds for your removal.